They believe in politics. They believe in democracy. Democracy is a religion. Democracy is a religion. Whether you believe in it, it is a religion. You being Democrat, the Republic is a religion. That's how they keep you to worship who? Matsema. You worshiping Matsema. It's up to you. We don't worship Matsema. No. We follow the Most High. We used to worship Matsema. No more. That time is gone. So it's up to you. It's up to the brother and to the sister. You want to do weakness? Hey, we don't suggest you do weakness. We don't condone weakness. You want to do on your own will? Hey, listen, the Most High coming, man. Keep in mind. So, he said, when her time approached, she left the city in great terror and wandered toward the desert. You see, she wandered by herself. By herself. By herself. She wandered. She wandered. You see that? She wandered. You see that? She wandered toward the desert, walking along the edge of a valley until she happened across a cave. She didn't take no maiden. She didn't take her cousin. She didn't call her sister. She didn't call her brother. She didn't call her husband. She understood. This job is my job. Is my wood. I got to carry it. Is my wood. I got to carry it by myself. Ain't nobody else busy. Ain't nobody. I got to carry it. I got to carry it. That's why a woman need to learn. We got to learn that. Our women need to learn that, and our men. We got to learn that. She didn't try to reach out to everybody. Hey, come on, let's go. I think we got to run. No, because if you try and do that, guess what? Hey, you're going to get caught. When you get caught, you get put to death. And you kill your own self. Don't accuse any auntie. Don't accuse a grandma. Don't accuse somebody. No, you did that to yourself because you didn't use wisdom. Right? Right? He said, until she happened across a cave, she entered this refuge. And on the next day, she was seized with throes. What is throes? Birth pains. But let's go to Google. We're going to ask Google. Let's go ask Google what is throes. It's written as TH. Let's ask Google what is throes. TH. Let's go right here. We're going to ask Google. All right? Let's ask Google. Throes. Right? It's TH. So like a THROES. It's an old English word, which means birth pains. Alright, let's listen to it carefully. Let's listen to it. Let's see how Esau pronounce it. Because we don't know it. Esau know everything. It's a word I read it yesterday. Right, let's read it. Bear with me. My mouse. Listen.
Throws.
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 Alright, it's a intense of violent pain and struggle, especially accompanied birth. You see, that's a new word you're learning, brother. Throes. THROES is in plural. So let's read it again. Let's listen again. Let's Google repeat it.
Throws.
Throes. He said what? He said intense or violent pain and struggle, especially accompanying birth, death, or great change. Right? So keep in mind, birth pains, things like that as a woman goes. So she was seized by birth pains, right? The pain that the woman got to go through as the Mosai prophesied in the beginning, right? Let's go into it, right? The Mosai said, let's go to it, onto the woman, right? Let's read it, right? Let's read it. This is the book of Genesis, right? These throws, it go back in the beginning, right? It's not new. It go back since our forefather and our forefather sinned against the Mosai, so the Mosai set it up like that. So let's go and read it, right? Let's go and read it. Okay, he said, unto the woman, he said, the Mosai said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Amen, hallelujah. All right, amen, hallelujah. All right, keep in mind, amen, hallelujah. Right, so we all understand. We know what it means, right? Bear with me. See, I'm going to put it part 4, all right? Let me select here. Okay. I'll add another to it. Bear with me. Alright, bear with me. Alright, bear with me. Do another one. And Lord willing, that will be the last one, Lord willing. Alright? Will be the last part I'll be doing on Instagram. You already know, all praise be unto the Most High. This platform blockers, we can use the other one. And I'm pretty sure maybe this still belong to Facebook. I'm pretty sure. This still belong to Facebook. I'm pretty sure they fuse together, something like that. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm assuming. Alright? I'm assuming. I could be wrong. Right? So, the Most High, the thrones were already put upon Eve in the beginning. When you go in the book of Genesis 3, you read verse 16. Genesis 3:16. Alright? So this thing that sees her, that's what we're reading. Alright? He says she entered his refuge, and on the next day she was seized with throes. And she gave birth to a son, who Abraham. Alright, let's continue. He said the whole cave was filled with the light of the child's countenance, as with the splendor of the sun. You see, the place was so bright, right? And the mother rejoiced exceedingly. She was there by herself, no complaining, nothing. She was just rejoicing. Watch this. This is the might of the Most High. When you believe in the Most High, you trust in the Most High, you don't run the Most High. Right? You don't push the Most High to do things. Right? The Most High will do you whatever He got to do you, whatever time the Most High judge righteous. All right? When you say, Our Father who in heaven, we say, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That will be done on earth as it is. So the will of the Most High must be done. Right? Not my will and not your will. All right? So let's continue. He say, and the mother rejoiced exceedingly. The babe she bore was our father Abraham. You see, that's how you know this is our history book. This is, look at what the author say. He said, the babe she bore was our father Abraham. All right, let's continue. His mother lamented, so she cried. She lamented and said to her son, Alas, that about thee at a time when Nimrod is king. You say it's unfortunate, but guess what? It's not unfortunate. The Most High is not going to let Abraham die. He was born for a purpose. He was born to overthrow Nimrod. He was born to subdue Nimrod. Right? Because through him, the Most High chastised Nimrod with who? Esau. Abraham be born, guess what? Isaac be born. Then Isaac gave birth to who? Esau and Jacob. Who killed Nimrod? Esau. So Esau came from what? The seed, the lineage of Abraham. Okay, so you see how the Most High operate. You see, because the Most High say, I'm going to use Abraham seed lineage to subdue him. Who did the Most High use to kill Nimrod? Esau, Edom. Who killed the Cushite, the Ethiopian Nimrod? Who killed him? The so-called white man killed him. Esau, Edom. Yeah, he put him to death. Both are hunter. Now one is cunning and the other one is mighty. The cunning got more deceived. So he deceived Nimrod and he put Nimrod to death, man. Esau put Nimrod to death, man. Right? Let's read it. He said, Alas, that about thee at the time when Nimrod is king. For thy sake, you see, that's the work of the Most High. Sometimes we cannot understand. For thy sake, 70,000 men, children were slaughtered. Just for the sake of Abraham. Imagine that. That's why we tell you, don't take it for granted. Whatever you have, your job, whatever, understand the Most High allow you to have it. The Most High give you that job. Your car, your houses, all the things you have, you listen, the Most High allow you to have it belong to the Most High. Imagine the Most High allows 70,000 innocent babies to be slaughtered by the wicked, to be killed by the wicked, innocent babes. Innocent baby, understand that. Same thing happened. All these millions of the babies that have been aborted, killed, murdered every year. Don't you know the Most High? See, if the Most High want, He can already kill the parent before they do that. The Most High can already destroy the hospital. The Most High can already destroy the nurses. All these physicians that do such things before they do it. But the Most High let them do it for a purpose, for a reason that we don't understand. That you and me, we don't understand sometimes. Because we are not the Most High. Our thought, the way we think, the Most High does not think like that. That's what the Most High told Isaiah. He said, as the heaven is high, so are my thoughts. For the thought of the Most High are not our thought. The way we think, the Most High does not think like that. The way we see, the Most High does not see like that. You see, that's the thing we got to work on. Those are the thing we got to start exercising. We got to rehearse. The way you talk, you think, the Most High is not with it, man. Especially you ain't bringing out the word. You ain't using the word of the Most High. You ain't using the wisdom. You ain't quoting the Bible. You ain't giving no glory, no thanks to the Most High. guess what? That's your vain opinion. It doesn't matter, man. We got to go to the source. We got to go to the life, man. We got to go to the living water, which is the word of the Most High, which is the Bible, man. That's what we got to do, brother and sister. That's how we got to operate. Don't just do your own thing. You think you smart. No, man, you can't do anything, all right? Nothing you can't do it unless the Most High allow you to do it. If the Most High does not operate in you, how can you do it, brothers? How can you do it, sister? You can't do it. The Most High move the spirit. He move it. Right and left, in whomsoever he want to move it. Right? Let's continue. So if a brother is able to do this and that, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Though you be keeping the commandment, it doesn't mean you can't do it. If a brother went through this and that, it does not mean that the brother is not keeping the commandment. It does not mean that maybe the house of the brother is out of order. No, it doesn't mean that. The Most High wants those things to happen for a purpose, for a reason. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that the brother sin or the sister have sinned. It does not necessarily mean that. The Most High could be doing that to bring us through trial and tribulation, just to get us ready, get us prepared for the worst that will be coming. Things like that. That's all. Right? Let's continue. He said, alas, that I bore thee at the time when Nimrod is king, for thy sake 70,000 men children were slaughtered, and I am seized with terror on account of thee, that he hear of thy existence and slay thee. He said, I was scared, man. I didn't want Nimrod to kill you. You see, that's what we call a virtuous woman. Even though it's not like she know too much, it's not like she know too much scripture. Everybody around her back in those days, they were all worshiping idols. But she got common sense. She understood something. She did not want the baby to die. All the women went to the hospital, whatever Nimrod set up. Guess what? She did not go over there. She trusts in the Most High. How many of our women have such spirit on this earth today? Even though a lot of them in the truth, how many of them have that vibe? How many of them have that spirit to be strong in the Lord, to go through things, hard time, and not go off? How many? How many of men, they can do that, can be in the spirit and exhort the wife, right? Stay in the spirit, right? Going through things for over 3 days, 5 days, 6 days. Will be, and they won't go off. Oh, well, let's rush to Esau. Let's go to here. Let's do this. How many? Before you rush to Esau, Edom, before you rush to this place of Matsema, you got to do first? You give yourself over to the Most High. Maybe you try with the Most High for 3, 4 days, 5 days. Maybe you try and you see what happened. You don't know when the Most High will heal you. You don't know when the Most High will deliver you. Right? You don't know. As long as you continue to pray and you call on the Most High, you may continue to suffer. Your son, your father, your wife, your mother, they may continue to suffer. And you continue to pray. Then the Most High see you persevering. You keep on persevering. You're doing more persevering. You pray more. You're doing more things. You're making changes. Guess what? Then the Most High take it away and you'll be healed. That's it. And game over. It's very simple. But sometimes, right, we quick. Once we go through things, we just want to go straight to Esau. No. Go to the Most High first. Maybe for 3 days. Maybe for a week. Right? Maybe for a week. Now, if you realize they're going out of hand, you can't do it, you can't handle it, you can't go through it, then maybe you want to resort to Esau. Because you go in the book of Sirach, the Most High told what? Do not neglect, that malady or that illness, right? If you be, go to a physician. But a physician, we know the Most High talking about is, though thou heal you with what? The herbs, the earth, right? The vessel that comes from the earth, the herbs, the trees, the natural roots, the fruits, the food. The natural root is the food, man. But, like I say, I digress. Other brother might say, well, this and that. I digress. I leave it alone. But let's keep on reading on with the spirit. We're almost at the end. Let's see the spirit of this woman, right? It already said, says, with terror on account of thee, that he hear of thy existence and slay thee, who Nimrod. He said, I didn't want Nimrod to kill you. Because she killed 70,000 babies before you were born. 70,000 got put to death, man. You're the only one that the Most High delivered so far. Pretty much that's what the woman, the mother is telling Abraham, right? Better thou should perish here in this cave than my eye should behold thee dead at my breast. So the woman said to Abraham, he said, listen, man, I don't want to see you be snatched from my breast and put to death. I'd rather have you die here in this cave, man. I want you to die in this cave rather than to be put to death right before my eye by Nimrod, like the 70,000 children and more than 70,000 children. He said, no, it's not happening. I rather want you to die in this cave if it be the will of the Most High. How many of our women have such spirit? How many of them? How many of them believe deeply in that level? And this woman is not like she's in the truth. It's not like she's in the truth some way back in those days. But not like today, you got a lot of brothers, sisters, they study the Bible, they're rehearsing, still they can't do things properly. Even though they're studying the Bible, they're learning this, they're watching it, they're doing, still they cannot put it together. They still can't do it. But look, this woman, she stays strong in the spirit, man. Right? She stays strong in the spirit. Let's go to her, right? He said, better thou should perish here in this cave than my eye should behold thee dead at my breast. She took the garment in which she was clothed. So she removed her garment. Whatever she was wearing, she take it off from herself. Okay? Okay, that's what we call a righteous woman. A mother that cared for his son and for her daughters. Keep in mind. Right? And wrap it about the boy. So she wrapped Abraham in her clothing, one of the clothing she was wearing. She taken one and wrapped the baby Abraham into it. And then he said, then she abandoned him in the cave, saying, may the Lord be with thee. What did she say? She said, may the